So we talked a little bit about making sure you have a book that looks like a good book and that it actually is a good book when you're building an author platform and self-publishing. But it's always going to be true that we also need to get a lot of reviews, because readers won't just take our word for it that the book is good. Even if we have a great cover and a good blurb, a book without reviews won't sell. So it's a big conversation because everybody knows that they need more reviews, but they can be really tricky to get. It's a little bit of a chicken and egg situation because you're probably going to get about one organic review per 100 reads, which seems really low. That means you have to sell 100 books to get one review. And unless you've already got 10 or 20 reviews, your books are really not going to sell. So there are some hacks and ways around it. What most people try to do is ask for help with help or support from their friends or family. So they send out a lot of review copies to friends and family, but then they feel frustrated because everybody says they bought a copy or they loved your book, but nobody's actually reviewing it. And so you feel like you have to go and follow up with everybody and beg for book reviews because they are really important, and it makes you feel like people don't care about you enough. But here's the thing, your friends and family are probably not the right audience for this book anyway. Asking for a book review is kind of a big ask because it means they have to read a book that they may not enjoy or that they don't necessarily want to read just to support you, and then they have to say nice things about it even if they didn't actually like it. This is the same reason why it doesn't really work to swap reviews between authors, where there's still a lot of websites that kind of do that thing because it seems to make sense. Authors need reviews, why don't we help each other out? But the problem is that if we send each other our manuscripts, especially if we're not even the right audience for each other's books, and then we don't feel like we can say nice things about them for whatever reason, it gets into a really ugly conversation. Also, Amazon, it's against terms of service to incentivize sales or reviews for any reason, even if it's just, scratching each other's back between authors. It's even the case that they've shut down Amazon author accounts for reviewing books in general. I publish under my main email that I also buy books under. So years ago, I think Amazon stopped me from reviewing books, even though I read a lot of books, because they don't trust that my reviews can be unbiased because I'm also an author. So just something to keep in mind. What you're really looking for are unbiased, real reviews from actual readers who don't know you and actually like reading books in your genre. There's a few ways to go about that. One, you can give out ARC copies. And the problem with ARC copies is that that's an advanced reader copy. Typically, you give out a bunch of copies and then hopefully you get some reviews back. The tricky part is that you need someone to send a review copy to first. You can do that by building your email, which I think we're going to talk about soon. Yeah, we're going to talk about another video coming soon about email list building. But if you have an email list, then you have hopefully a targeted audience that you can at least offer a free copy of your book to. It's not against terms to give out ARC reviews. You can't say I will give you a book in exchange for a positive review, but you can give away books to reviewers and then hope that they also leave a review. That's still going to be a numbers game. You might have to give away 100 ARCs for 5 or 10 reviews. That's going to depend on how well you've pre-sold it, because just because they download a free book or accept an ARC doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to like it enough to review it. Also, people ask about getting blurbs from famous people, and that's sort of a different thing. That's tricky because if you're reaching out to somebody who already has a platform and you don't have a platform, you're not really giving them anything of value. You're just asking for a favor, and they're probably going to say no. Even if you want to make that kind of ask, you've got to do a lot of work first by having an amazing book cover and landing page and still getting 5 or 10 really good reviews from people they trust. You kind of have to move up the ladder, start with some basic, anybody, slowly move up to maybe smaller bloggers, people that you might know who are sort of in the right industry, other authors in your genre, possibly, although, again, that's something I feel a little uncomfortable about. I don't ask friends of mine who also write in my genre for blurbs. It can work really well. The basic difference is those are editorial reviews, which means you'll give them a copy and they'll give you an editorial blurb that doesn't get posted straight on your Amazon page as an organic review. You can manually add it. On your Kindle page, you have a section called the author dashboard where you can add editorial reviews and extra information. So you could do a lot of work to get those kind of blurbs, but that they don't really make a huge difference in conversion, not a big enough difference that I think is worth the effort. What I focus on is normal organic reviews. One of the ways that I've done that is by giving out a lot of free copies. Not everybody wants to do that, but in Kindle Unlimited, for example, it's a 3-month exclusivity program, but I earn page reads and I have 5 free days a month where I can give my book away for free. So if I do a free giveaway for at least the first book in my series, it's harder when you only have one book out, but even so, I would recommend putting your book out there for free in the beginning because it's the easiest way to get reviews and because you can't really sell the book without getting reviews. Everybody wants to just have a strong launch and start selling the book, but you can't market the book without reviews. So there's 2 ways to go about it. You can build an email list, send out some ARC copies before you launch to a targeted email list that you've curated, hopefully after you've also done some platform building and audience engagement so that they know who you are and they care enough to download the book and start reading it. You can do it that way and try to get some of those reviews. Then when the book is launched, those people can post reviews to your Amazon page. But that gets a little bit weird also because it won't show as a verified review if they didn't actually buy the book. So you could either gift them a book directly from Amazon, which I also don't do because it's a lot of work to manually gift books out to each of your potential reviewers. It's really hard to ask someone for a favor, get them on board, and then continue, okay, I send you the book, now you give me the review. Managing each of those one by one is really tough. I would rather have a reader group or an email list where I say, go download a copy of the book. I use BookFunnel for that. And then I will tell them the book is live. Sometimes though, because it's a challenge and you do want the verified reviews, sometimes I'll use my Kindle free days and I'll just do like a 24-hour, I'll use one of the free days. That way, my ARC list or my email list can download the book for free, and those should show as verified reviews. So even if I give them an ARC beforehand and then I tell them it's live, it's free today, even before I really launch it, nobody else really knows it's on Amazon yet, they can get the book for free and then they can leave reviews. That reduces the hurdle and makes it more likely that more people are going to review the book for you. So it's up to you how you want to do it. You could either reach out to influencers. It's a lot of effort, build an ARC team, send out ARC copies, get them to review the book when it goes live. There used to be a trick where, and you can still kind of do this, you can publish the paperback version of the book. And if you're not promoting it, no one's really going to see it on Amazon because there's millions of books. But because the paperback version is live, reviewers could leave a review on the paperback copy. So I could set my ebook for pre-order for like a month or 2 out so that I can build the momentum. And the nice thing about pre-orders, I think we'll talk about pre-orders later, but instead of just trying to schedule one book launch and it has to hit really hard in a week, you could be slowly marketing your book over a couple of weeks or a couple of months, building up to a pre-order campaign so that when your book launches, it's already got some traction. When you launch, you'll be in the hot new releases for the first 60 days, I think. And if you had some pre-order before that, then you're starting off in a stronger place. Your rank will be slowly climbing up. So when you launch, you're not starting from zero. And that can work. You can, if you really want to, put up the paperback so that people can leave reviews even though the ebook isn't actually live yet. And then when the ebook finally goes live, that's like your real launch, your real announcement. There was a trick I was going to say where you could publish a paperback but then make changes and then not publish the new changes and the book would just show as unavailable. So because you had a product page up for the paperback, even though it's no longer available, people could review there. That doesn't really work anymore, but I don't think it's a big deal just to publish your paperback early and try to get the reviews up before your ebook goes live. But also, I don't know if that's necessarily worth doing. The important thing is to try to get 5 or 10 reviews in the first week when you launch, and before you schedule any promotions or marketing campaigns or email blasts or any of that stuff. because otherwise that's just not going to convert very well. So you're going to spend a lot of money on visibility, but you're going to have much lower conversion or bang for your buck. So you want to get the reviews up as fast as possible. The two ways that I mentioned that I like are building an ARC team with an email list, giving them ARC copies, getting them to review on Amazon, or if you're a bit lazy like me, and it's not even necessarily about being lazy, it's just more effective, I would just do a big free campaign for the first book. My philosophy of all this is that there's always more readers out there. If I'm writing, young adult fantasy, for example, which is what I write, there's 20 million people in the US who might be interested in those books. If I give away a few hundred copies to those people that I can find and offer them an ARC copy, and a few of those 100 convert into 5 or 10 reviews, just enough to get started, it's worth it for me to do it, not because I'm losing money or devaluing my book. It's just the most cost-effective way to get the most reviews as quickly as possible. Instead of trying to really focus on, I'm going to give out 10 ARC copies and I'm going to get 10 reviews back, which you can't really control anyway, because you can't obligate people to leave reviews if maybe they didn't like it for whatever reason. There are some strategies without being too pushy. Like, I'm not saying never follow up with people, but especially if like someone's doing you a favor. Sorry, I'm spinning out a little bit here, but one of the things I was going to say is BookFunnel, which is what I use. They have something set up for an automated email campaign, which means that I think you import a list. So if you do a giveaway, you can't just use all the people who signed up to win something to send ARCs to, because they didn't sign up to get a free book or to review your book or to be a fan. But you can start there. If you've got a targeted list, you can offer them a free book, ask if they want to be ARC readers, and then if they give permission, you can put their emails onto something else like BookFunnel. BookFunnel, you can just set up a landing page where they can download the book directly. You can make a landing page where they have to opt in to get the book. I typically don't do that because I build my list in other ways, which we'll talk about later, and I just want them to download the book as quickly as possible. But on BookFunnel, I could also set up, like I could grab 50 emails of people who had said they're willing to be added to my ARC team, and then BookFunnel will schedule emails out for you. So one will be like, the book is available. One will be like, just reminding you that the book is going to launch soon and you can post it on Amazon. And then another email will be like, it's time to post your review. So rather than like trying to follow up with everybody, there are systems like that which make it a little easier and aren't too pushy. And I think those are generally a good idea. And the other thing I was going to say is, if you are sending stuff out to potential influencers, you do a lot of research, you look at all the people who have reviewed similar books, who have somewhat of a platform. There are sites where you can pay for reviews, but I don't want to get into that yet because I'm going a little off topic. If you have influencers you want to reach out to, I wouldn't say, are you interested in reviewing my book? If so, get back to me, then I'll send you a copy, because almost nobody will get back to you. But if I send them my material, if I say, I noticed you reviewed this other book, I really think you're going to like this one, here's a link to download it for free if you want to. You've got to, like I said earlier, you've really got to make it appear valuable. So you have to say like why this book matters, how it's different, how it's similar to stuff that they already have read and liked in the past. You have to do enough research to know whether or not your book is really a good fit for them. It's got to have a great cover, it's got to have a great blurb, and maybe a couple real reviews from even just normal people, so that it's not just you saying the book is good. The main thing is, like, it's a big time commitment for them even to take a look at your book, and most people are reluctant to respond to indie authors because some indie authors can be pretty pushy. So if someone asks me, I kind of have a blanket statement that I don't review books, because people will ask me all the time if they can send me the book or if I can help promote it or review it. And generally, like, if I said, sure, send me a copy, then I'm on the hook. And then that author's going to keep hassling me until I finish reading the book. And that puts me in a weird position because I don't really have any control over whether the quality is good enough yet. I don't want to say I will review something until I've already seen the quality. So I'm not going to respond to someone saying I'll take a look, because it's already too much, basically. So what I would do is put out a really good landing page, whether BookFunnel or something else, maybe just a landing page where they can download the book for free with some reviews, some cover art, some, story about who I am and why this book is important. Maybe anything else that I'm, using to market the book. If there's any kind of if you're building your own platform and you have something to offer, then you could do something like, if some other influencer has a new book or a course or a blog post or whatever, you can do them some small favors by sharing their stuff, even if it's just engagement. Before I reached out to anybody, I would first follow them on social media, on Facebook and Twitter. I would interact with their posts and leave comments on their social or on their blog posts for a few weeks, just to kind of get on their radar, where they notice me interacting with their content. It's not a big thing, but everybody wants to get more visibility. If someone gets likes or comments on their content, it'll get more views on social. So it's a small favor that I can afford to give them. And if I do it over a few weeks, they might sort of recognize my name and have some positive feelings. So it's still like, I normally don't want to start a relationship making an ask. I would rather have something to offer. Like maybe I'm organizing a joint promo for books in my genre. I might reach out to 10 other authors I like and respect who have similar books to mine and organize a package deal or a giveaway. That gives me something to reach out to them just to say like, hey, I'm doing this thing because I liked your book so much. I want to share it with my readers. Hope that's okay. I'm not asking them for anything yet. I would start with something like that. Or even, it depends if you've got a blog, if you've been blogging for a while, if you even like putting a list of my favorite books in this genre, or tweeting every day one of those books and then tagging the author and saying, this is one of my favorite books in this genre. Thanks for letting me read it. Here's a link to my review. Little things like that where you're providing value rather than asking for favors. Personally, that's how I like to do things. My first book on marketing, Book Marketing is Dead, is mostly about that kind of stuff, the relationship stuff. I still think it's a good idea so that you're not just trying to convert cold traffic, reaching out to total strangers and trying to ask for favors. That can work if you're pushy enough, but it's a lot of effort and the conversion's probably going to be lower. So I mentioned BookFunnel already, which is one site. There was another site called Insta Freebie, which is now called something else, but I don't feel like it really gets a lot of traction anymore. Two newer sites are Booksprout and Story Origin. And the way they sort of work is they allow you to upload an ARC copy. They also allow you to join joint author promos, or some of them allow you to do list trades, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But basically, if I have a free book, even if it's an ARC before I publish, even if I'm going to go into Kindle Unlimited later, it gets a little weird. Even if you're in Kindle Unlimited, you're allowed to give out ARC copies anyway, but it can't be a free book on a competing book marketplace. If it's in Kindle Unlimited, that's what the exclusivity means. You can publish on Kindle anyway, but if you choose to be in Kindle Unlimited, then you need to be careful about where you give out your books. You should still be able to give out ARC copies behind a protected opt-in form, but it gets a little dodgy if you're also joining a bunch of joint author promos on sites like Story Origin or BookFunnel or Booksprout. I think it's still kind of okay, but what I would do is do it 3 months before your launch, and then once you put your book up in Kindle Unlimited, stop offering your ARC copies, or at least stop joining those joint author promos. If you're wide or if you're not in Kindle Unlimited, it doesn't really matter. And those three sites, they all kind of can work really well if you're starting from zero and you're just trying to find some readers who will read your books to get the minimum reviews. I still think building your own list with giveaways, which we'll talk about in another video, taking more proactive role in finding your target readers and offering them an ARC copy, or just doing a free campaign to get as many downloads as possible. You can't just use your 5 free days and just assume you'll get a lot of downloads, because you really won't. you have to also stack promos and try to get several thousand downloads at least, so that if you do it in the first day, if you get as many downloads as possible on the first day, you'll get to the top of the store, maybe in the top 100 on the Amazon free categories, and then you'll pick up a bunch of organic downloads as well. It's true that most of those readers are just freebie seekers. They may not convert to buyers. They probably won't read the book. They just download a bunch of stuff. But that depends on your book. If your cover is strong enough, if your blurb is strong enough, if the first chapter is good enough, they'll try everything until they find something that they like. Maybe your book is the one that they like. And even if, most of those people never leave a review, you just need some of them to become fans and leave a review. When you're established, when you have a huge email list, when you've got a lot of Amazon followers, you may not need to do free campaigns anymore. That's why a lot of established authors say things like, you should never give away your books for free, or you should never discount your books to 99 cents. That works for them because they have a lot of content and they can just run ads, and ads are better for direct sales, but you can only do it after you've got the reviews. So for new authors who are starting out without a platform, without any reviews, you're probably going to have to do a lot of the things, even if it doesn't feel comfortable, like you're giving your book away for free, you work so hard on it. That's not how I see it. It's cheaper to give it away for free, and you'll get better results than it is to pay for a promotion and get very poor results because it's not converting, because you don't have any reviews. So it's the thing that works the best. That's why I keep recommending it, even though I know a lot of other people who are against free books in general, because readers, they say it trains readers not to pay for your books or whatever. And that, again, it might be true. It's better not to give your stuff away for free, but your enemy is obscurity in the beginning, and there is no shortcut to marketing your book and getting a ton of reviews. It's going to cost a lot of money that's not going to be profitable for you unless you decide to use something like a free campaign, at least giving out ARC copies to potential reviewers. But I do think considering launching your book with a free campaign is just kind of an easy way to get the ball rolling. Once you've got reviews, once you fix your conversion problems, there's more people out there who will buy your book once you're ready to really sell it and market it. But until you get the reviews, you really can't do anything with it. So I get a lot of people who have, they published years and years ago and they've never been able to get any traction. They've already tried everything, but they've never finished publishing, which is why all of my stuff, it's not really about book marketing. It's about making sure you set up a basic author platform with a basic book product that converts to sales. What I mean by they've never finished publishing is that to market a book, you have to have the cover, the reviews, and the blurb. And if you don't have a great cover and you don't have any reviews, marketing is not going to work. No kind of marketing is going to work for you. So I try to steer people away from, marketing hacks, because everybody wants to just spend money to promote their books. But it's something I said years ago that resonates with a lot of people, is that book marketing only helps a bad book fail faster, which feels really difficult to hear. But it means if your book is not ready for the prime time, if you put a bunch of money behind it to get a lot of visibility, you're probably just going to get more criticism or less results. Like best case scenario, nothing happens and you just waste a lot of money. But worst case scenario, your book isn't really ready to be out there and you get a bunch of negative comments that you can never really recover from. That's the problem with Amazon reviews. They last forever. So I have stuff that, going back to editing, which was a previous video, it's difficult to edit your own books. I always do the best that I can, but I have books that I published in the past that were pretty good, but weren't perfect. I had some typos. And I get a lot of reviews like, 5 stars. The story is great. I love the story, but, it needed more proofreading. It needed more editing. And even though I've, cleaned up those books and they're much cleaner now, hopefully nearly perfect, I can never get rid of those early reviews, which flagged issues that are no longer the case. So I got kind of distracted, but hopefully this video covered a lot of stuff about getting book reviews, food for thought at least, and that's all I've got for this video. We'll move on to the next topic. Thanks, bye-bye.